great for rising. You know, I hear so many podcasters, black podcasters on YouTube, just running down other black people and other black podcasters. The name calling, cool, this, that, and the other. But I never see that same smoke or that same energy against white people or other race of people. Even if they're disagreeing with the other race of people, I never, ever, ever hear that same disrespect or that same energy. Why? Why is that? Have you noticed that? They may say something, but they're tiptoeing when it comes to other races. But when it comes to us, to Aunt Jemima, we are house Negroes. We don't say Negroes. We are this, we're that. We are Uncle Tom's. All these things that are said about the black people by black people. Why is that? Why is it that we have, so just like this with Tyler Perry, we go on and on about Tyler Perry, but we never say anything about people like Quentin Tarantino, he did Django Unchained. Nobody said anything about those boys. Now, you know when I say boys, you know what I mean. I don't hear nobody saying anything except one person about those boys that was in that movie. Nothing. But when Tyler Perry do his film, and by the way, Tyler Perry film really portrays real life. When you look at our plight as black women, every one of those movies Tyler Perry has done, I know somebody who identifies with that. But he always showed them overcoming. But somehow we overlook that fact that he shows these women overcoming these obstacles. But let me tell you something. You don't see in these other movies by non-black producers and writers where black women are portrayed as prostitutes, whores, bed wenches, whatever you name you can think of. But no black part, well, I haven't heard them, I put it that way. And if, well, maybe I heard one or two, but guess what? They don't have that vitriol, however you say it, you know what I'm talking about. They don't have that same smoke. They don't have that same hatred that they have for Tyler Perry. What is wrong with us black people? You know, I think about Dr. Cosby, R. Kelly, and now P. Diddy versus Epstein and other non-black people who have been accused of violating children or trafficking and everything. Even when a black person, if they by chance say anything, which some of them will if it's going to get them some likes and some hits and some clout, but you never ever hear the same energy that goes into Epstein as went into Dr. Cosby. And allegedly Dr. Cosby was dealing with women of age of consent. Now, I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I'm not saying he did or didn't. My point I'm making is with Epstein and some of these other non-black people, they have actually been accused of messing with underage children, trafficking underage children. So black men, where's that same energy? Yes, I do understand. But I'm going to say that anyway. Where's that same energy? Where's all that smoke? Where's all that, we don't need to hear this, we're going to boycott this? Where is that when it comes to non-black people? If you take note of the most celebrated, I guess you would call it celebrated, black podcasters, many of them have a lot of subscribers and stuff, and if you listen to their channel, they're running down black people. Nothing get the likes up and get us excited like black people running down black people. We have common enemies. So I'm not saying we shouldn't discuss these things. What I am saying is let's give some energy to the other things, and let's give energy to other people that are actually detrimental to us. The systemic system of racism. Blacks didn't do that. But you don't hear people carrying on about it like they carried on about Dr. Cosby, who drone behind women, who went to his motel at night, late at night, him being a married man. We don't have that same energy that same smoke when it comes to talking about these things. We don't have that. We don't have that. Let's talk about for a minute some common enemies, as it were. What about redlining? As I said, systemic racism, dumbing down our children, not educating our children. I can go on and on about all these things that affect us all. But we are so busy calling each other names that we don't really have the time maybe to devote to fighting the common enemy. So I'm suggesting we have a Together Thursday. A Together Thursday. Every Thursday of the week. Black men, let's talk about, if we're going to talk about issues, let's talk about issues that are common to all of us, that are keeping us all in the same position. Because you know what? Regardless of whether you say I'm an Uncle Tom, whether you say I'm a coon, whether you say you're not an Uncle Tom and you're not a coon, guess what? You are in the same boat as I am. We have the same enemies as each other. The people who hate you hate me. But somehow or the other, we think it's a flex. Somehow or the other, we think that make us out as the big boys. When we can sit here and we can run each other down. What about police brutality? I don't think nobody actually is asked by the police. Now wait a minute, are you a coon? Before I shoot you in your back running away from me, are you a coon? And even down to the religious people, ministers, calling other ministers this, calling other ministers that. But guess what? What about the fight, ministers, against the systemic racism? What about the fight against police brutality? What about those things? Why is it that we spend so much time and energy trying to trample down each other, but don't spend as much energy trying to trample down the system that has been set to work against us? You know what? These type people, in a lot of ways, they are worse than the coons and the sellouts. You know why I say that? Because according to them, they have a sense of awareness. According to them, they know better. Those other people, they're just coons, they're just sellouts, they're just your Aunt Jemimas, they're your bedwenches. But I know better. So that's what makes you worse. Because you're supposed to know better. Somehow you're supposed to have more awareness than the coons, the sellouts, the Aunt Jemimas, the bedwenches. So if you know better, why aren't you doing better? Why? As I said earlier in the podcast, let's have a Together Thursday. Starting Thursday this week, a Together Thursday, where for the whole of Thursday, and from now on every week, the whole of Thursday, we're not going to call black people names. We're not going to call each other names. Even when we're speaking about things they're doing that we feel like they shouldn't be doing, let's give each other the same courtesy, the same respect, the same consideration we give non-blacks. We can do it. We can do it. We can make the difference. We can be the change we want to see. But it's not going to happen, black men, as long as we continue to devote so much time into running each other down. Black men, you spent so much of your time running down your fellow black man instead of spending that time working together to build up our race and our community. Why did you do it? Keep on churning till the butter comes. Be encouraged. I'm Lily Thayer. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Support our youth in any way you can. Keep on churning till the butter comes. Albert C. Richardson, a black man, patent the butter churn U.S. patent number 446470, February 17th, 1891. I'm Lily Thayer. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. I leave you with this. If they close my book, you remember my story. A Nat Turner Runner production. Lock and load. Lily Bell. Be encouraged.